All right, everybody. With me on the line, singer-songwriter Lauren Vahdani. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Did I get the pronunciation right?
You did. Well done, Vidani. You did good.
I practiced it, so I was like making sure I got it right. So talk to me about how you started and what's the journey been like?
Yeah, so I mean, I grew up playing piano, was classically trained in piano, grew up dancing. So music was always a part of my life. I also always used writing kind of as a way to process things. But I really didn't start my journey into being a singer-songwriter, pursuing the artist life until later. Like in my late 20s, around 2019, 2018, 2019. I was like, I had fell into this corporate path, had achieved a certain level of success in corporate life at a fairly early age. And I was living in Cincinnati at the time. And I kind of just realized I kind of hit the point, I hit a career title that people retire from. And I had all this like, parameters of what other people would say
You got
success.
wait. You got tired of the boss lifestyle, you know?
Yeah, well, it wasn't me. I think I felt like I would like put on my little suit jacket each morning. I
Yeah,
was
of
like
course,
the
you know.
part, and it was so not me. I've always been
Log into the Zooms, at 8 a.m. Like
yeah, I'm not driving a lot around the Midwest and oh, I just like it was soul killing and I realized I just wasn't feeding that right brain, that creative side of me, which has always been, integral part of who I am. And I started, getting back on the keyboard and I started writing to just process that and started out as poems and then songs and I started sharing them with friends. I used to be too shy to sing for anyone, so I would just like read my poems to my friends and they're like, this is really good. Like you need to do something with this. And so in 2019 I decided, fine, let's go all in. I'd like made my plans to move to LA, bought my first guitar, started doing vocal lessons and just dove right into the life and here we are. Finally releasing my first album, which is from that batch of songs that inspired me
perfect
to
perfect time to plug it. What's it called? And also, where are you from?
Yeah, I'm originally from Texas, from Dallas, Texas. Born and raised there, went to University of Texas, Hook'em Horns, and then been in LA since end of 2019. And so it's a two-part question. You also want to know about the album?
Yeah, yep, exactly.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so this album, man, it's been a journey, 6 years in the making, finally getting it out here. And I just recently decided on the name of it, like actually a few weeks ago. I was going back and forth, but it's called A Million Little Heartbreaks. And it's named after a poem I also wrote in 2019 in that same time frame as a lot of these songs. That was like sometimes I write poems and they're not meant to be songs, they're meant to be poems. And I felt like it kind of captured the theme of a lot of that time of my life. And I'm gonna put a little handwritten version of the poem in my vinyl insert. So yeah.
Everyone should check it out. And when's it release officially?
I'm hesitant to give a release date because it keeps changing. So
Oh, okay.
sometime later this year, stay tuned. I have a few more
Yeah.
singles to drop in the meantime. So I have my next single coming out next Friday, the 21st, called What's Good and What's Right. Heard it here first, actually. I'm announcing it on social media later today.
Oh, well, exclusive here on the Sensibly Cynical podcast.
Exactly. Saved it just for y'all. Um, so yeah, a few more singles, and then you'll be sure to hear later this year the album will be coming out, and I'll be doing vinyl and all that fun stuff.
Yeah, I hear vinyl is coming back in,
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it. Something about like being forced to listen start to finish to an album the way an artist intended. With our short attention spans these days, you're not skipping ahead, like you're listening to the full discography, not just the singles. And it's also a great way to support artists, especially independent artists that we don't make a lot on streaming. So
hmm
vinyl is a nice way to support and just kind of that extra personal touch that I like.
Yeah, I've said this story a few times on the podcast, but I remember being I'm a little older, so I remember being in the like club scene in like this was had to be like late 2000s, so like 2009, 2010, something like that. And this guy, he was like just handing out these CDs for people that, aren't aware, these little discs and little clear cases. and just handing them out. I'm like, dude, what is this? He's like, man, I'm just handing out CDs, and that's what people did. Especially in the 2000s, late 90s, they would hand out these CDs. You ever think about having any of your music in CD form? I've actually heard that some artists are doing that again.
Yeah, I have some friends that have done that. The ironic thing is I don't even own a CD player anymore, but I do have a record player. So I'm
But
like, I don't
have you heard of things like that where people handing out CDs at no cost, just handing them out?
at no cost. I haven't seen that as much because, we gotta recoup our costs here if you're not funded by a label. But there's other ways just to, you could hand out like digital download QR things
QR
or
codes, yeah,
yeah,
that's where it's at, yeah.
I'll give you some stickers or something.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think the vinyl is
bumper
like,
stickers on the car, yeah,
yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
or
I'll
on the
send
laptop,
exactly.
So what's I wanted to talk to you about one song in particular, "Want It With You." Now, how did you get 10,000 views on YouTube in 6 months?
You know, I
I
have
want to know that.
I actually have no idea. That was my first solo music video to put out. That was also my first single from the album and one of my favorite songs. That's why I released it first. It just like kind of draws me and always makes me feel some nostalgic kind of way. And I knew I really wanted to do a music video for it. I'd done a music video before for my duo project in the past. But the distributor I go through, we distribute through Vivo. So it's not even my own YouTube channel, it's my Vivo channel on YouTube.
Oh,
And
fancy.
so I don't even like have control over like ads or like pushing it. I mean, I did some social media marketing on Instagram and TikTok. I need to get back on TikTok, but I was like experimenting with a lot of different marketing at that time, and I, got written up in some articles. I flyered around LA. Like I was trying to be real creative with like different ways to get it out there. So I don't know what which one of those or a combo or like how I got to 10,000 so quickly. And then I'm like, oh wow, like all my videos are gonna, and they haven't all hit like that. I don't know, some
Well,
kind
that's the
of
first song I heard. I heard from you, and I'm like, I have to get her on the podcast. It's pretty. I heard some like folks. It sounded like folk. I hear a chime or a banjo. I heard some like folk vibes to it, and also the you have like this interesting voice where you can get like low.
yeah.
Am I wrong on the folk side? Like I don't know what I heard. Piano,
So
banjo, or a chime, something
you
like
know,
that.
for the whole album, all the instrumentation we have is well, there's obviously drums and bass. We have acoustic
Yeah, I
guitar,
mean,
we have electric guitar, percussion, and vocals with
yeah,
that, which
okay, percussion. Yeah.
so I'm trying to think maybe it was like the guitar one of the guitar tones
I don't
like had
know.
a little bit of that twang to it.
I don't know what it was, but it was cool. And then the other ones. So how many songs are on this release? How many songs are going to be on it?
13.
13. Is that
Yeah.
just random number you picked?
Well,
Lucky number 13. Is that
I guess
the
so, right? I when I wrote these songs, kind of that big writing spurt like that happened 2019, 2020, I wanted to really put them all on an album together. And I was kind of discouraged by different collaborators in the past, like you should start with a little EP. And I actually recorded a 5-song EP that I never
yeah.
released of those songs back in the day. And I just felt really, and I released a couple as singles prior to this album, that would have been lived on this record as well, Flash in the Pan and Maybe, a little bit different style and sound, and I've grown a lot since then. But I just felt really convicted that I wanted them to be on an album together and kind of bookmark that era of my life. I've obviously written a lot since then and grown since then. And that was just of the songs I wrote, I narrowed down to my absolute favorites that I felt had to live on a record. And it just came down to, I guess, 15 songs that I felt needed a home in that era. And I'd already released two of them. So that's it.
So two of them didn't make the cut. That's.
Well, they made the cut before the album. So Flash
Oh,
was
oh,
the
oh,
first single that was in that era. And then Maybe was my second single that was in that era. But
Ah,
I think
got
I
it.
felt like I think I might do like a little stripped EP at some point and include like reworkings of those.
Like a re-release.
Yeah, I'll probably do that at some point, but I was eager
That's
to get
cool.
the rest of these.
So are you going from like venue to venue, or how are you with the local scene?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few places in the scene, especially I'm pretty plugged into like, even though my music isn't necessarily full-on country Americana, I'm plugged into the country Americana scene here. I was previously in a duo that was plugged in into that as well. I'm kind of like Americana pop, indie pop, whatever, alternative, whatever you want to call my genre. So I play like some of the showcases in this scene, or like some of the the other promoters and bookers, or reach out and get me on different lineups. So it's kind of like organically developed, these shows that I've played, and recently just kind of got together a new backing band that I'm really excited about, so we're booking more with that. And as I release more, I'm gonna plan a string of tours as well.
Awesome. So you're looking strictly California, or
No, eventually I'd like to take it elsewhere. Obviously I got to go back to Texas and do the home tour. But yeah, no, once the album's out, I want to, kind of do maybe Weekend Warrior, string together tours, and try to hit, places around the country. I'd like to go make it over to Europe as well. So
do you
I
have a
got,
team? Do you have a team with you, or is this a solo venture?
what was that?
Do you have a team with you, like people that help you with this, or is it just a solo?
Right now, it's all
Yeah.
been solo, but I might be getting a manager soon. I've been in talks, so that'll be super helpful. But yeah, I'm definitely
I don't want to hurt your leverage, Lauren. I don't want to. I don't want to.
no.
We could.
I've been doing all this on my own. I kind of wanted to prove myself with my first solo album, and like figure out my sound on my own, figure out my branding on my own,
No, I know. I was kidding.
find my direction. And now I'm at the point where I am seeking help and likely getting some help soon.
That's awesome. I was just joking. So what's um what's your favorite part about doing all this? Like, there's got to be something that keeps you going because it's a lot of effort, especially a solo deal here.
Totally. It's like the thing that lights up my soul the most of anything I've ever done. And that enough is enough to keep me going. I feel like the artist life kind of chooses you. And if you don't listen to that calling, you'll end up how I felt in 2018 and feel like you got to make a radical change. And yeah, so I'm just taking it as far as it'll go. And, I am happy anytime I'm working on anything music related.
Got it. And what's the on the flip side, what's the hardest part about the solo you know, thing?
Yeah, the hardest part is wearing all the hats that it takes to be an independent artist. The writing comes the easiest. That just like I don't try to write, like writing is just like my way of processing life. And then it's fun to bring those songs to the studio, and like I do have obviously a team that I work with for production and recording, like my band and all that. And I love bringing the songs to life in that way. The art and the creation is super fun. The administrative side, the business side can be a little harder. Um, just because it's like kind of using the left brain, right brain switching behind. So yeah, I would say just juggling everything to give my music the highest chance of success is the hardest. And so hopefully I'll be having help coming in on that soon.
Yeah. Stories, you have to have stories too.
Oh,
You
I
have
got
any
plenty
you
of
have any
those.
you have one you can share. It can be about whatever you want. Any
Stories like about life, or about
just
for my song.
music, yeah, music preferably, but wherever you want to take it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, goodness, like, do you want a story about like a songs particularly, or
Yeah,
just like
whatever,
what I've
wherever, whatever.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, how do I do this without incriminating anyone?
No
Um,
pressure.
like I don't know, like it's kind of a story. I've lived a lot of I'm a pretty like spontaneous, free-spirited person, so I tend to find myself in lots of situations that lend themselves to good plot lines. My mom always says I should write a book, and I think I might do that one day as well. I might like publish a book of my poems as well that didn't make it to songs, but I just tend to like attract interesting experiences and like One cool thing I did before I moved to LA that kind of maybe shows a little bit of my like personality, spontaneity, who I am, is like I took a year off work when I decided I was like moving into the artist life and to do everything I didn't let myself do for all those years during the corporate life. And so I actually like rented a camper van for 35 days with my dog Lucy, my little golden doodle. If you've
All
seen her
right,
on my
that constitutes as a story.
yeah,
I like
and so we
this.
just, drove from Cincinnati to Denver, spent 2 weeks with my friends there, picked up the camper van, and did this road trip. Like went through all the national parks, Wyoming, Montana, Idaho, Seattle, all the way down the coast to where I first landed at my apartment that I was moving into in LA, and then ended in Phoenix at this yoga training I was doing. And I just had like a very loose agenda. I knew I needed to be in Seattle by X day and LA by X day, and everything else I just kind of woke up and I was like, where's a hiking trail? Where's a yoga studio? What's cool to check out in this city? Where am I sleeping tonight? I'll figure it out. Like, so definitely lots of interesting stories. Luckily didn't get into to any danger.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, I kind of just am someone that likes to experience life and
Yeah, you strike me definitely as like a West Coast person. Is that your preferred, like, I could see the West Coast, like coffee and stuff like that. You drink a lot of coffee, caffeine.
totally. Well, actually,
Yeah.
this is gonna really LA me, but actually, I prefer matcha
Oh
to
yeah, that's definitely LA. Well, when you said Seattle, I was thinking like Starbucks or like coffee,
yeah.
you know.
I like an
And
afternoon
then
coffee,
Denver
morning
is Coors
matcha.
Light, you know. So
No, I'm a Texas girl, but I feel like I belong in the West Coast. I've always had my sights set on living actually in LA. I spent a summer out here for dance in high school, and I've been trying to make my way over here, and I kept getting derailed. So this is like the first place I've really chosen to live since college. And I'm planning on staying here. I belong here for sure.
well, shout out to you for being able to finance rent prices or whatever housing costs.
Yeah, it's not cheap, and I'm really grateful
It's
for rent.
ridiculous. What's
Yeah,
that?
I said luckily, we have rent control apartments for like older buildings, so like
Yeah.
I'm holding on to this rent control apartment.
I'm holding on to mine as well.
Yeah.
Back on the subject of music. Do you have any band or any, it could be local, could be national, that inspired you or that you're really into?
Yeah, I mean, kind of a couple separate questions because there's like the music I grew up listening to. So I think my songwriting style and and yeah, kind of what drew me to really love and fall in love with music was like comes from a lot of those female singer-songwriters of the 90s, like Jewel and Alanis. So they always have a special place in my heart. Um, right now I'm loving listening to Wild Rivers. I'm like, you kind of I don't know if you do this. I do this where I go in like rabbit
I'm not super familiar with them. But go on.
Oh, they're good. You gotta check them out. It's like this. There's like a male female singer. They're kind of in that folk pop indie whatever.
Independent or independent?
I think they must be on a label because they're pretty big, but
Oh,
I'm not 100% sure. But there's a song of theirs called "Thinking About Love" that I it's probably gonna be like my most listened to song this year. I like obsess about a song or an artist, and I'll just like listen on repeat. So that's the one. Like I'll definitely like post a video of me like covering that song soon, and like I've been into their discography a lot lately. Yeah, it's like soulful, good, fun vibes. Check it out. It's fun.
you remind me of a solo. This is kind of an older band. I don't know if, actually I don't know if too many people will know who they are. Some people may, some people may not. You ever heard of the Lumineers?
Yeah.
You do. It's like a you're like a solo Lumin. I know that's a deep pull. You're like if the Lumineers were, I don't know if they have a female, but if the Lumineers were like a solo, that would be you.
Yeah, I've gotten that when I was in a duo before, we got that. So I can see that. I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah. All right. Let's see. What do you we talked about the album coming out. Um, what's the longest, like, have you been out of the like state playing? Like what's the furthest you've been playing? Like
Let's
furthest away?
see. I've done New York City. I've done Cincinnati when I was back visiting friends there. I played a show there last year. I did, I've done Texas, the Dallas area.
Sure.
And I've done like up and down the coast a lot, especially in the Doe days. We did a lot of weekend warrioring up and down the coast. So yeah, this year I'm planning on expanding my horizons, and a goal of mine is I want to do a little hop across the pond and do some UK Europe shows.
Nice, nice. Cincinnati. I don't think I've ever interviewed anybody that's what drew you to Cincinnati? Was it the the venue or just you knew people there or
Well,
I'm interested about that.
yeah, I lived there for 3 years
Oh,
prior to moving
okay.
to LA for my old career, the one that I fell
Yep,
into.
yep, got it.
And I had never even been to Cincinnati or let alone Ohio before moving there. But I made some really great friends. People there are super welcoming, that Midwest like welcoming vibe. So I made some lifelong friends. So it will always have a special place in my heart. And I even have a little 513 tattoo for the
Oh,
area of
oh,
Cincinnati.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah.
a shout out to 513.
Yeah,
But
shout
yeah,
out to them. Yeah.
so yeah, basically
I'm sure a lot of Buckeye fans and Reds and Bengals and are you big into sports at all?
Being from Dallas, obviously, like Cowboys were huge in my household and all of that.
Yeah.
And going to University of Texas, Longhorn
Well,
football,
yeah,
super.
that's why I asked because I got the I heard the reference.
Yeah, but to be honest, ever since I moved from Texas, I didn't. If I don't have, to me, it's like a social thing. So if I'm not like around fellow fans in a fun environment watching it, I'm not gonna really be at home watching by myself.
You've been to a
Uh,
Cowboys game?
what was that?
You ever go to a Cowboys game?
Oh yeah, a lot growing up, and I've actually used to dance the halftime show for Thanksgiving with my dance team. They used to have like local dance studios join the Dallas Cowboy Cheerleaders, so I got to do that a few years. I did like Destiny's Child and Toby Keith back in the
Oh, of
day.
course,
That was
Beyonce. Yeah,
so
why not?
fun. Yeah, so fun.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. All right, Lauren, where can people find you on social media?
Yeah, just I keep it simple. Just use my name. So at Lauren Vahdani, that's Lauren Vahdani. You can find me on Instagram, TikTok. I got to get better about you doing that one. Wherever you find your music. I'm not really on Twitter, so Instagram is my main one.
All right, well, I will be on the lookout for that album drop. And thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you for having me. And then remember what's good and what's right. My next single out Friday, March 21st. So I'll be sure to send you the link on that one too.
Please do. I will promote it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me. It's
All
been fun.
right. Yep. All right. Bye.
Appreciate you.